Yeah, just some things I just been thinking about. So, I've been debating, should I pick up another part-time job? Should I pick up a full-time job? As well as the job that I currently got. But I was thinking about like how unattainable a house really is. And how you need like just a group of like close friends, close buddies to even attempt to buy a house nowadays. Because of the foreign investors, the freaking people that already have houses. We have politicians buying up houses. We have just so much stuff actually happening in the housing like market. That just absolutely insane in my opinion. But is the housing market a part of the labor shortage? Is that one of the reasons why not everybody is going back to work completely? I think that plays more of a role than the freaking virus itself, because the virus, of course, it did damage, and it's not going to be 100% normal like how it used to be pre-virus, pre-2020. But I personally feel like the gap between like the poor people and the rich people is growing to a point where I feel like there's going to be no return. We got freaking inflation. We got so much stuff actually happening. And I was just talking to people in real life, and I just been really thinking about like, if I get in a job, yeah, I'll be bringing more money, closer to 30 grand a year. But I'll be sacrificing happiness. I'll be sacrificing things that I actually enjoy, my hobbies. Me making videos for you guys, me chilling and just enjoying life. But I'll be sacrificing that for a job that would not guarantee me a wage that I need to actually survive in this America. Like, I'm not anti-work by any means, because I feel like we all should work and pull our own weight. But I just feel like there should be a way to actually make sure that the people that's working these jobs is getting paid enough, or they don't have to worry about like freaking rent, food. But in this system that we're currently in, which I personally call it crummy capitalism or late stage capitalism, I feel like that's not the situation. And this is one of the reasons why I feel like fast food chains and places like that is really having a difficult time getting people, because of low pay, high rent. Even red states like Utah, freaking Texas, freaking, you even could throw Florida in that mix also, since they kind of in the middle. But yeah, if these like red states, that's extremely expensive. The funny thing about Texas is that they have a pretty high property tax rate, a lot higher than all the other red states, I believe. Don't quote me on it. I know it's higher than Utah's. I know that for a fact. But Utah also has a pretty high like freaking sales tax, like they tax you with everything. But the funny thing about that, like Vegas, like Nevada's a blue state, but they don't take income tax. And you know how like the people on the right, on the freaking red team, they always say that we afford less taxes. But if you guys actually afford less taxes, then you got to show proof that you are for less taxes. Like, I mean, yeah, they're less than California, New York. But if you're gonna be full libertarian on shit, which they're not, then they should be more towards something completely else, like something that's meaningful, But no, the red state's gonna do this whole like freaking bullshit where they just freaking point fingers and blame on the blue, then the blue team does the same thing for the red, then oh no, we have a disagreement, we are freaking at each other's throats. while the real issue is not even getting addressed. Because the real issue, in my opinion, is this whole housing situation, is inflation, it's the freaking homelessness, the freaking drugs, the freaking crime. Because the main reason for crime is because, two reasons I feel like, is because people are depressed and they need something to lift them up, so they get addicted to drugs. Another is that I feel like people feel like there's no way to get enough money to survive but to do drugs. Like, I know plenty of people that do like crimes and shit like that as a way to life because they need to pay rent. And as politicians, they should be working their way into bridging that gap where we have more of a safety net, whether that be jobs or UBI. Because if we have good jobs and none of us are concerned about getting laid off, if we are concerned about getting laid off, make sure everybody actually gets helped out and make sure that we are paying good enough for everybody could make rent without freaking stressing or freaking working 100 hours a week just to pay rent. Because that's no life. That's no life at all. And that's like not a life I want to live, you know. But I don't know. I probably just call this like a podcast because I've just been rambling. I just have a lot of stuff to say. Like the whole 5 for 15 thing. In our reality, 15 nowadays is absolutely nothing. I mean, $50 an hour might be good like 2016, 2015, 2014, but we are in the current year of 2022, and I feel like $15 an hour is not enough nowadays. I feel like we need to get that up to like freaking 20, at least 20. Because of inflation's always going to happen. And it's been happening for the last 2 years. It's been freaking absolutely crazy. But I just don't know what else going to happen, what's going to do. I just hope that we actually get a leader that's actually good. The last two presidents, they full of memes. I'm not going to lie. Like Joe Biden, my favorite quote from Joe Biden is, "My name's Joe Biden, Vice President Biden." Like, what the hell? Then he talked about Corn Pop being a bad dude. Then he talked about almost putting a chain to Corn Pop, and Corn Pop has something to stab him with, and he jumped around saying he loves kids jumping on his lap, and they pull his leg hairs to make it go up and down. Like, what the hell is he even freaking saying? Like, come on, Joe Biden. Then we have Donald Trump. The whole freaking Make America Great Again meme. I was not making no money under Trump either. For the most of Trump's presidency, I was making like $800 a month. At UPS making $15 an hour. And I know I talked about this in the past where I feel like the union wasn't fighting for higher wages. I feel like a non-union person, Jeff Bezos, actually made it happen because of competition and fear of losing people. But yeah, I just hope that freaking people in general just freaking get paid more. Like, I don't consider myself a socialist. I consider myself more of a free market capitalist still. Because if I feel like everything's all free market, right, that means we won't have no government interference. And one of the reasons why I feel like government should not interfere in capitalism, they should in a way, but not like the way they've been doing it. Because we have like some companies that gets bailed out by the U.S. government. So they pick and choose on who wins and who doesn't. So then it goes down to who lobbies the most. And I feel like politicians should not take bribes or lobbies or any money in general from people. I feel like they should do it just build like a social media platform. Not platform, but like build your social media up to get followers. Like do what PewDiePie did, or freaking the Paul brothers, or freaking whatever you want to say that is really famous. Do what they did and just run on good values. Run on like shit that people want to freaking hear from, like instead of like just doing this, I'm gonna waste $10 billion on a presidential campaign where I'm gonna bug everybody saying my name is Joe Smith and I want to make America good again. So we gotta listen to me. We gotta send foreign aid to random countries that will make America good again. We're gonna write a 1,000-page law book thingy, and we will pass random stuff. And that's just how it is. Then we gotta talk about the propaganda that's on both sides. That freaking propaganda is absolutely batshit crazy. It's freaking stupid. That's the thing, like, I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, like, I'm politically homeless. That's what I call myself, because, like, I want higher wages. But at the same time, I feel like I'm still for capitalism. But I want higher wages. I want to make sure that everybody is good, and I also want rent control, like federally wide. The main reason why I want rent control is because housing is a need. I feel like we should not have like a high value on housing. What I talked about like earlier, housing is absolutely freaking insane. Like, it's so unaffordable. It's causing a labor shortage. I believe that's the main reason why. Because like, why work 40 if you're still being forced to live with your parents? Why work 60? Why work freaking 80? I mean, what's the purpose? What's the point? That's what I always been saying. Because like, yeah, you can make 30 grand a year, but that's not even 10% of what you need to buy a house if you have good credit. Then let's say something happened and you lose your jobs, like what happened in 2020, like that's still a possibility because of outside control. Like, we have no control over like what's going on, and we don't own the business either. So let's say you have 2 jobs and you're making 40 grand a year or whatever. That's only 10%. Of course the government's going to tax it. Then you're going to drop you back down to like 30 grand. Then that below 10%, that's if you don't spend a penny. Of course everybody's going to spend something. You're going to get a freaking go to a restaurant, you're going to buy a game, you're going to freaking watch a movie or whatever. Everybody spends money at some point. But what type of money how much do we really need to save for retirement also? Because that's still a possibility. Like, at the same time, like, how long is the American dollar gonna last? How long is this monopoly game gonna last? And why are we still playing this monopoly game? Of course, like, that's why I call myself politically homeless, because I feel like I contradict myself. At the same time, it's like I feel like free market capitalism, it should be ran kind of like Bitcoin in a way, or a gold standard. Like, it needs to be backed by something that is more valuable than a banknote and a promise. I feel like that's another issue. It's because they label like a house as an asset, and because they label a house as an asset, they able to freaking try and profit off of it. That, and we also have the banking system. Like, I'm 100% against the banking system because I feel like it's just so worthless. Because you need to be this, and this to get like the money that you need to actually buy a house. You need at least 10% down. 10% down is like 50 grand if you want an okay house. The low market is like 350,000, so you're gonna need like 35k. And to even get 10% down, now you got to think about other people like the corporations that are buying into real estate cash, or they're having a lower interest rate because they're a corporation and they're cutting deals with the corporation banks. Personally, like, I feel like capitalism would benefit more without having a federal banking system, without the Fed. I feel like that's what capitalism would benefit the most out of. Because what's actually going on is I feel like they making younger people really pissed off about the system that is in place, because it feels like we can't get ahead. And when we feel like we can't get ahead, that's when like riots and like kind of what happened in 2020, but I could see it being worse because like we can't get ahead with a 9 to 5. That, and we still have some people believe that we can nowadays. I mean, what 9 to 5 are you working? Most people is working in like the freaking restaurant sector, retail, or even in freaking construction. Like, there's so much talk about how the trades, yeah, you make so much money. I just don't see where the money is at. Like, I worked in the construction. Yeah, I did demolition for like 6 months or whatever. I was making $12 an hour, and they cap you at $30 an hour. That's their cap, and I just think that's absolutely crazy. Because what's $30 nowadays? What's that? Of course, that's gonna get taxed, so you're making more like $25 an hour. Depending on the year and how much money I already made, that might actually drop more. But where does this money really come from? Because I feel like if you're not like making $50 an hour or $60 or $70 an hour, I feel like you're not making anything. Then we got rich people that already have money. They're fully invested in the stock market or real estate. They're not even freaking lifting a finger, and they're freaking making bank. Then you got freaking people that's high up in these music labels. They're not making music. They're not doing anything. You got the CEO of Spotify, Dan Yink, or whatever his name is. Probably got his name completely wrong, but I don't think that guy busts his ass. He probably just freaking tells people what he wants done and they do it. And he gets freaking paid. Then you got freaking these other CEOs that feel like they don't even do anything. Like, what is the CEO's job? Like, what do they really do for that company? Or they think of ideas. Oh, this might improve it. Okay, let's lay 1,000 people off randomly. Because we're better.com. We're better at laying people off. We're better at being a shitty company. No wonder why people don't want to work these days, because where is the loyalty? Like, I mean, in the past, I feel like companies actually want to take care of you and your family, where you could survive off of one income. Nowadays, I feel like you need 2 or 3 incomes to even survive. For you and your, like, freaking partner, you need, like, 3 incomes. That's each, so 6 incomes to even survive. Like, to buy $1 million house, you need to make 9 other friends, and you need to save up 100 grand each with 9 other friends to buy a house that has $1 million. Now, how are you gonna be making that 100 grand? If you're making 30 grand a year, let's say even after taxes, that would take you 3-4 years, maybe 5, depending on how disciplined you need with your money. So it'll take you like 5 years to make that money. That's insane to me also. It's like the value of the dollar is so freaking weak, is so freaking worthless from what the Federal Reserve already did, like the freaking panic. In the last 2 years, it just has been freaking crazy to me, dude. Like I've really like been doing like just soul searching and really trying to understand who I really am and what I really want to do and who I should be. And I'm still freaking lost. I got so many people telling me do this, do that. This way is how you're supposed to live your life. You gotta chase that American dream. You gotta freaking be on your own. You gotta freaking move away from your parents. You gotta do this and do that. Like, I mean, granted, all of that's cool things, but if I'm gonna need roommates, and I have trust issues, like I do. That's one of the things I have. Especially like not really like relationship trust issues. It's just that I need to actually like trust the person. Like they could like actually make rent. Like they could actually hold a job. You know, before I could actually trust them. Like if I need roommates, there's no better roommates than your parents, because they're already freaking stable. They're already doing what they're doing. They've probably been doing that for years. I mean, what's the difference between having roommates with your parents and having roommates with friends or complete strangers? With people you don't even freaking really know, or people that's young and they tend to party a lot. Like, I'm not trying to like put my friends down or by any means, but I trust my parents more. And if I'm in a situation where I need roommates, I already have my roommates, like, and I just need to like just build something where I'm able to like, I don't know, like make enough money where I'm not stressing about anything. Like that should be like my go-to, right? Where I'm not stressing about life. But I'm still stressing about life. Like I'm still stressing about like what I should do. What is the career path? What is the roadmap? How can I become successful? What is life about? I mean, I'm still young. Like I still have a lot of learning to do, and I still am immature. Like my mind's not fully cooked, and I've done some questionable stuff in the past, but I'm learning from it and I'm becoming better from it. And I'm just trying to understand like what can I do to better my life? Like how can I do it? I feel like I'm kind of like repeating myself a little bit, but like for real though, like for real, like this whole channel just been freaking for the repeatedness. Like I've job after job and just trying to, like I said, I understand this madness that was gifted the younger people, because I feel like America's economy is not as good as it once was. We have not fully recovered from 2008, and we are a surface-based freaking economy now. We don't make anything but surface stuff. Like we have shirts that's made from other countries. It gets imported, then complain about the stuff not coming in. But if we actually make the t-shirts, if we make the skateboards and make the cars, and if we make the stuff like in-house in America, we won't be having the same issues. You know? Even if our neighbor countries like Canada and Mexico, even if they make the stuff for us, we still won't have the same issues. Because the trucks could travel through Mexico up to America, and Canada could do the same thing, you know? But one thing that I realize where I'm at, we have a labor shortage, we have shortages in certain things like food, but we don't have no shortages of drugs and people being on drugs. And guess where most of the drugs come from? Mexico. Like I'm not trying to put anybody down. Like China is part of the blame too, part of the bad guys, because I believe they have fentanyl in China, and I believe they've given it to the people in Mexico. Then it gets brought up. I believe that's the chain. Don't quote me on it. But even the government, even the USA government, is making money off the drug trade. The CIA. Now the freaking CIA killed a DEA agent because they don't want to get caught doing illegal activity. Like, it's just not like the freaking, like, Mexico problem. I feel like it's also a United States problem, more so, because I feel like the CIA helped the cartels make it where they're currently at. And if you have the freaking young generations all doped up and freaking fiending for drugs, they're not gonna overthrow freaking the government. They just simply just not gonna do that. Because, like, why? Why would they? Because they want those drugs. They're not overthrowing the government. They're not going out there freaking protesting on what's actually is wrong and what's actually going on. They freaking at the freaking dealer's house giving blowjobs, doing all this freaking stupid shit. And that's something that, like, personally, like, impacts me, because I know so many people that's on drugs or did drugs. It's just, like, first off, I always ask them, like, why I choose to do that. I mean, like, especially if you already have, like, people in your life that's a prime example not to do it. Like, I've grown up with alcoholics. I've grown up with freaking even the harder drugs, basically, and I have to navigate through a lot of shit. I've navigated all of it because of life, and I've realized that I don't want to be that. I mean, for a couple years I was that. I was getting drunk and smoking weed. But, like, I realized that that's not a roadmap for success. That's not what I want to be, and that's not who I am. And I freaking realized that because it's like, I don't know. That and the song Downfall. My homie that rapped his verse on it, me and him had a conversation about, like, drugs and shit. And the conversation was like, he started with marijuana, right? Then when he got to be, like, high school age, like freaking 10th grade, he started doing meth. And a lot of people that would say marijuana is not a gateway drug. Technically it's not, but it could be. And it usually is. Same thing with cigarettes. Like, cigarettes could lead to something else. Same thing with alcohol, drinks, sugar, caffeine. All of that shit could be really addictive and is pretty addictive. But people people just gonna believe what they want to believe, and then those, like, studies for the argument and against the argument, and they just choose which study they choose to believe in. And, like it or not, like, marijuana, like, I used to, like, really enjoy smoking it. But I realized, like, it's illegal in my state, and I could get a charge if I don't have a card, because it is legal for, like, medical use. But if you don't have the card, if you get busted with it, you will get charged for it. And that's not what I want on my record. But also, like, I just life in general. But I'll keep you guys posted on this new job. My next time I'm working is going to be Friday. Yeah, Friday. But anyways, I'm probably going to end this podcast right here because I got nothing else to really talk about. But anyways, deuces.